Welcome to Focus on Fives. My name is Mrs. Rulapal, or Mrs. R for short, and I'm excited to be a part of your home as you begin your kindergarten adventure. Let me walk you through what to expect and also give you some suggestions for how to prepare. There are 2 videos for each lesson. The first video will be 15 minutes or less and be focused on our weekly theme. Sometimes it will be focused on heritage studies. Other times it may be science focused. And there are even some literature lessons. Occasionally, really only a couple of times in the course, there are days where the first video is a language arts lesson. And on those days, there are 2 language arts lessons. The second video is typically the language arts portion, and it usually is about 30 minutes long. Every 5th lesson is a reading lesson. Mrs. Lawson teaches the reading lessons. They are 30-minute lessons and are the only video on that day. There are 160 lessons in Focus on Fives rather than the 180 you will find in first grade and on up. This gives you flexibility to plan breaks and field trips into your school year. This also makes it easier to adapt the course to a 4-day school week if you so choose. Although I don't recommend combining the Focus on Fives lessons, if you need to, the best option is to combine the reading lesson that falls every 5th day with either the day before or the day after. It's really important to give rest time after new concepts are presented so that the student has time to process that information. Because of that, I don't really recommend combining lessons. Remember that in Focus on Fives, just about every single lesson is presenting new information. This is a foundational course for your student. Please remember you are welcome to customize how you use the course based on your students' needs. I usually guide the students through the majority of the work text pages. However, if you have a student who grasps the content well and doesn't need the teacher guidance, you may choose to have the student complete some of the pages independently. You have the freedom to decide how to make this course suit your student and your family. Likewise, if you find that your student needs a break during the language arts lesson, please feel free to pause the program and take that time. I'll even give you a hint. The perfect time to take a break is right before we play our splash game with Hopper. Remember, you are the teacher. I'm just here to assist you. Please adapt the lessons to your needs. I'd like to point out to you that as we learn the formations of the letters during our handwriting time, the strokes we learn describe the letter itself. Let me show you an example.
Begin near the top, swing around to touch, retrace and curve.
So in this example of lowercase a, begin near the top refers to the top of the letter, not the top line on the paper. I'd also like to point out that there are no tests in Focus on Fives. However, there are weekly review for you and periodic Let's Check pages that can help you evaluate your students' understanding. Checkup station pages are also provided for assessment if you wish to use them. The first one is found at the end of the first 24 lessons. To assist you in processing the information from the checkup station pages, rubrics are provided. Please be sure to watch the video on the topic of rubrics when lesson 24 comes around. It will help you understand how they are meant to be used. Well, now that we've completed a general overview of the course, let's talk about organization. A little time organizing up front will help you access the materials needed for each lesson quickly. You may want to collate the work texts and file the worksheets by lesson number. Let me show you why. I'm going to flip over here and you'll see that there is a supplement portion of this work text, and you will find the kindergarten diploma here. You may want to save that for the end of the school year and make sure it doesn't get ruined before then. There are also lesson cutouts. Let me get to them. As you can see right here, and you may want to cut these apart and then file them with the appropriate lesson. You'll see that it says use with lesson 44 here, use with lesson 46 here. For the checkup stations, you can just file them with the lesson that is listed at the very front of the first page. Now, let's switch over to the phonics practice book here. Okay, so at the back of this book, you will find the phonics stories. They look like this, okay, but they come two to a page. So they come looking like this right here. You will need to cut them apart and then fold them so that they are in book form. You'll want to do that ahead of time. These phonics stories are each used for 2 sequential lessons. So make sure you keep them for that second lesson and don't misplace or toss them after they are used the first time. You'll want to have a special place to keep the readers too. Here I've got the whole pile of readers. There's quite a few. You can use a plastic container like I have here with a lid, or you can even use a box or a gift bag like I have here. Now it's ideal to have 2 separate containers. One for the books that haven't yet been read and another one for the ones that have been read. That way the student can easily read an old reader on their own. Now you can either prepare all of the lesson materials at the beginning of Focus on Fives, or you might choose to do it weekly. Now I would suggest having 1 folder per day of the week you do school. So if you're doing it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you would have 5 folders. If you're just doing a 4-day week, you would just label it for those 4 days. And you might want to have a different colored folder for each day of the week like I have. That way your student will learn to look for that color for the day of the week it is. There are many, many other organization tips and tricks out there. Just use whatever method works best for you and keeps everything organized and easy to find. Now, one final tip as you get organized is to make sure you have the materials needed for the Make It activities. These are fun arts and crafts that are sprinkled throughout the course that go along with our weekly themes. Not only are they fun, but they will help your student continue to develop fine motor skills. Very important at this age. So I encourage you to check the materials list to make sure you have the items needed. I hope that this will help you know how to prepare and that it has given you confidence to begin the course. Have a wonderful year in Focus on Fives.